In the rich and often intense world of Kurulus Osman and Kurulus Ertuğrul, character arcs are everything. The rise, fall, redemption, and sacrifice of individuals like Ertuğrul, Bamsi, and Turgut have given the series its emotional backbone. But in stark contrast, one character who deserved it more and received less is Bayindir Bey. Now this is kind of off-rip, a little ad-libbed. I just finished episode 149, and when I saw the way they treated this character in his end, I just could not hold myself. I had to make this video. Now, Bayindir Bey was never the most central character, but over the course of seasons 4 and 5, he was undeniably given a slow burn arc, one that hinted at an eventual redemption. Introduced as a greedy and opportunistic tribal bey, he dabbled in betrayals, aligned with Osman's enemies, and nearly got Aktimur killed in his ambitions to marry Alçıçık Hatun. But slowly, the show began to peel back layers of guilt and regret. By season 5, Bayindir was no longer just a political schemer. He became a complicated figure, a character whose redemption arc began in late season 4, but over season 5 is where it truly flourished. His loyalty had become something earned, and the emotional payoff imminent. But then, nothing. Bayindir Bey's death in episode 149 is sudden, unceremonious, and emotionally flat. He's captured off-screen by Imren Tegin, well, not off-screen, kind of lured into a trap, which is understandable and fine. However, there's no emotional closure, there's no story arc that kind of delves deep into the character's mind and journey. Heck, there's not even a proper fight scene. He just gets like 3 knives thrown onto him and then it's over. His death feels like an afterthought and just brushed off to the side. And what's worse is his death comes at a time where viewers had begun to care about him, not as a hero but as a deeply flawed man trying to carve out a more honorable end. And unfortunately, Kurulus Osman really missed the mark here. And this brings us to another point. The man responsible, Imren Tegin. New to season 5, he was supposed to be the next big bad villain. Introduced as a Templar, Turk turned Byzantine executioner, his mere title suggested menace. The first time we truly see him on screen, he's coming with this huge army. But this is a repeated formula in Kurulus Osman. New villain, a lot of exposition to show that he's a menace, 1, maybe 2 well-produced scenes with big set pieces, and then after that all we see are the villain with like 3 or 4 comrades and no real feats. The title Byzantine's Executioner only goes so far. Execution, both literally and narratively, matters more. Imren Tegin is given very little setup. He enters the story late and immediately begins mowing down Osman's Alps like they're minor NPCs. Then, without any real build-up, he captures Bayindir Bey and declares himself an agent of chaos and destruction. The problem is, it's not convincing. Killing background Alps and then easily piecing up Bayindir does not make a villain feel powerful. It reveals him as more of a plot device. There's no real dramatic tension, no build-up of dread. No sense that this is someone who can truly challenge Osman Bey and his OP 2-tap hit. Compared to the likes of Aya Nicola, Vasilius, or even Olaf, Imren Tegin feels flat, overpowered without earning it, and narratively hollow. This could have been so much more. Imagine for Bayindir a story arc that explores his reflection from becoming a loyal Alp that contributes to more than just himself, contributes for the greater good, for the state, rather than his own greed, fighting, holding out, and dying for Shahada. These are some things, these elements that were very lightly touched upon with the flashback, but just not enough. Imagine if Imren Tegin actually mowed down all of Bayindir's Alps himself, 1v5, and then him and Bayindir have an actual proper battle. Bayindir being overpowered, but fighting valiantly nonetheless. Bayindir, even with the 3 stab wounds, even with the daggers latched onto his body, still getting up, showing Imren Tegin that when you fight for something greater than yourself, you'll find the strength where you need it. Imren Tegin, taken aback for a moment at this valiant resolve, but then finishing him off. This both gives Bayindir Bey some proper closure and gives Imren Tegin that actual aura, that menacing aura that he so desperately needs. Unfortunately, instead what we got was a quick execution of one character and the weak arrival of another. Bayindir Bey's death wasn't just the end of a character, it was the loss of narrative potential, a reoccurring theme in Season 5 and most of Kurulus Osman, the show itself. Imren Tegin's mishandled introduction shows the dangers of rushing a villain without crafting their mythos. Kurulus Osman has always thrived on slow burn arcs, compelling adversaries, and emotionally satisfying resolutions, or at least hollow versions of these elements are what have carried the show. This was nothing close to that. Here's hoping that as the series continues, it remembers what made its early seasons resonate so deeply. The care it took with every rise, every fall, and every final breath. Thank you all for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I've got more videos in the works. This was just a little ad-lib. I just finished episode 149 and was taken aback at how they approached and handled the ending of this character, the sudden ending. So I just wanted to let my thoughts out. But yep, thank you all. Have a wonderful rest of your days. Bye-bye.